Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for being here today. I'm really excited for our conversation with the University of Tasmania and for you to get a look at how they are using Canto. My name is Kelly Miller, and I'm the Customer Relationship Manager here at Canto. And today we have with us Adam Bayliss, who is the Advertising Coordinator at the University of Tasmania. Hi, Adam. Thanks for joining us today.
Hi. Hi,
Yeah,
Kelly.
so
Thank you for having me.
Of course, yeah, we're excited. So we are going to start with a basic overview of Canto here, and then we'll jump right into our discussion with Adam. And then towards the end, we will answer some questions. So if you have a question, please just type it in the questions tab, and we will do our best to get to it at the end. So digital asset management enables teams to centrally store content, and with Canto, you increase the security, the organization, and searchability of your digital assets. Most importantly, Canto empowers creative and marketing teams to focus on what really matters. And we do that by making digital asset management simple for teams, which of course then frees up time spent on things like digging through images to find the latest version and things like external and internal asset requests. And that time can be used for more creative or strategic work. So with that, Adam, I will go ahead and stop sharing my screen and you can begin sharing yours. And then we will continue on with our discussion.
Great.
Perfect. So first of all, can you tell us a bit about the university and your role there?
Sure. So the University of Tasmania is, strangely enough, located in Tasmania, which is the southern end of Australia. It's the fourth oldest university in Australia, and it's also the university in the state of Tasmania. So we have a lot of things going on down here. I'm the advertising coordinator, as you mentioned at the start. So I sit in the brand team in the marketing space, and I look after all of the advertising, the booking and promotional activity for the university, as well as some other activity like managing Canto library and things like that.
Okay, very good. Thank you. So why did the university decide to look for a dam?
I guess the main reason was because we had a variety of images stored and other visual assets stored in a lot of different ways around the university. And we were looking for a way to make the storage of that a little bit more streamlined, both inside the marketing team, but also something that could be used a little bit more broadly across the university. We found that there are lots of images hidden in different places, and we wanted to make that more accessible so that anybody across the university could access approved images to use in all of their work.
Great, cool, that's awesome. So why did you choose Canto? Can you go through the process on that?
So we looked at a few different competitors at the time that we were first looking, and one of the things that stood out for us with Canto is that it's a well-established system. We spoke to a couple of smaller competitors who were a little bit newer in the market, and for us it was really important that we had something that was really solid in its foundation and that we could more or less just pick up and run with as it stood. We didn't have to do too much work in developing things that were unique to us. We could just jump straight in and get going.
Cool, yeah, that's awesome. So with your Canto account here, can you show us how you have your assets organized?
Sure. So, I mean, you'll see here on the left here in our library, there's a few different key parts around the university or key areas of the university that are using Canto to upload and store their images. I sit in the Office of Marketing, and so you'll see those kind of different areas: student experience, cultural collections, corporate affairs. Office of Marketing, for example, is where I sit, and then that's divided again into a couple of different areas depending on the area of marketing that we're talking about. Again, because I sit in the brand team, this brand image library, or folder rather, houses a lot of the images that I'm familiar with. And then we have, depending on the need, we have those broken up into a few different things, either around events, or where we have different campuses. We might have some destination shots around those areas, or just some hero images that we use across the university as our kind of centerpiece shots. So this one, for example, has some of our most used imagery. You'll see, some of these are just beautiful shots of students doing things in iconic Tasmanian places, or doing something meaningful in a really interesting place. That's kind of the style of photo that we're focusing on at the moment. And so you'll see that kind of theme runs through a lot of our images that you'll see come up here.
Very cool. Yeah, those are beautiful. I love the penguin photo. That's so cute. So you kind of mentioned it earlier, but which of your departments or your colleagues are connected to Canto?
So we have a few strategic areas around the university that are connected. So primarily marketing is the main user of the library, but there are others that we've got using it at the moment as well. So student experience, who work closely with current students, they obviously have quite a number of images, as well as corporate affairs, who are our media and comms people. So they also use a lot of imagery. And then cultural collections is somebody new that we've added in there. That's part of our library, and the artworks in that. And then we have a lot of other teams that use Canto less from a curator kind of perspective, and more as an end user. So they tend to have access to the portal side of what we do, rather than the library on the back end, and that extends right across the university.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I'll be asking to show that later, but for now, so what assets are stored in Canto, and what are they used for? Like, is it images mainly, or do you have videos or documents?
So we mostly use it for images. At the moment, we are just about to start on a project to get some more of our video work up in here. You'll see we've started to put in here some of our master edits as we've been doing them over the last couple of months. But what we're really looking to do soon is do a bit of a sweep around the university in much the same way as we did with the images when we first started. There are assets stored right across the university in different teams in different ways, and we want to be able to consolidate those into a central place where people can access them a little bit more easily. So those videos we're hoping to get up here soon, over the next couple of months. Hopefully by the end of the year we'll have a much better video component to what we store in here as well. So at the moment it's primarily images. Hopefully soon that will also include the videos. The other thing that we store a lot of in here is personal release forms for the subjects in our imagery and videos. And we often have those linked in an album with the corresponding images, so that we know straight away if any particular image has got all of the correct permissions on it. Those of us who are doing all of the maintenance in the back end will know that an image is approved for use or not approved for use if it doesn't have the right permissions attached to it.
Okay, yeah. So what does a typical workflow look like for you? Like who is uploading these, who is downloading these?
So again, I'll speak primarily from the marketing perspective. So in our team, we have a series of people who will identify a need for a photo shoot, and then we may organise that photo shoot, and once the photos come back from the photographer, one of the marketing officers will jump in and upload all of those images into Canto. And that might be in a central album like this one that we're looking at the moment with the brand hero images in it, or it might be in a more college focused area, so health and medicine or sciences and engineering. And so those will all get kind of uploaded, and then whoever is in charge of that area will go through and approve any images that are applicable, can be used in the portal. And then once they're up, sitting there live, ready for people to use, in marketing, we get a lot of requests from around the university to create collateral in various ways, whether that's print collateral or something for digital. And as part of our briefing process now, we're able to say to people when they're coming to us to have stuff created, we can say, hey, while you're putting together a brief for us, jump into the portal and have a look around in the image library and see, are there any images in there that inspire you that you might want to use as part of the campaign, or even just ones that give you some inspiration around like a mood board that we can put together to help inform how we build a campaign. And so then as part of that briefing process, they'll send us the links to the assets that they found in Canto, and then we can use those. So the designers will jump in and download those images, create all their assets, and then send them back to whoever the client happens to be on that occasion.
Okay, cool. So how do you, you mentioned portals. So how do you typically share content?
Through as in how do we use the portal?
Yeah, so, and you could also kind of go into, do you use share links at all, or do you mainly use the portal?
So it depends on who's working. So for example, within the marketing team, if we're sending something internally, if I'm one of my designers and I say, hey, I'd like to get you to create me an email header using this image. The main way that we use it, we will create a share link through this little thing, and very rarely change any of these settings. Sometimes we might click on the never for expiration if it's something internally, and then create our link that way, and then just email the link through.
Awesome. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. Okay. Yeah. So can you show us what your portal looks like?
Yeah, absolutely. So this has been set up for a couple of months now. It's always a bit of a work in progress for us, and we tend to evolve this every time we think there's something new that we need to do. For example, when COVID hit and everybody suddenly started using Zoom, we added an album to the front of the portal that has a series of virtual backgrounds that are branded imagery. Again, a lot of our hero things, a couple of just plain ones, but there's some really cool university branded images in here that it's been really great to see people across the university actually taking these up and using them on Zoom calls.
Oh, that's so cool. That's awesome. So, okay, so you said that the portal is mainly just for internal use?
Correct. Oh.
Okay.
Back now. So on occasion, if we're dealing with an external supplier, like a creative agency or something like that, we might send them a link to the portal. But for the most part, we use it across the university, and it gives the team here opportunity to have a look at the images, because prior to being able to use Canto, all of the teams around the university had their own images, but they all sat kind of behind a bit of a wall. So unless you knew who to speak to on a particular team, you wouldn't know what images they had in their library.
Mhm.
And so the portal has allowed us to really open that up and share that across the teams and give people access to this. So on our university intranet, the staff intranet, there's a link to our marketing page, and as part of that marketing page, it has a few different links that you can get to. But one of those now is this image library, so that if anybody's looking for an image, they can search on the staff intranet and say, I'm looking for an image, and it will bring them here to this portal. And so again, you'll see University Hero Images is a prime spot on the portal. For us, they're some of the main images that we want to get people to be looking at. We can look through and find something of use for them there. Excuse me. So you'll see, for example, this is the College of Business and Economics, and the shoot that's coming up here is actually an economics class out assessing bushfire damage in an area just north of Hobart, and economic impact is on the local environment, local townships, and the people that live in the area.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's really interesting.
Yeah, and so again, people can jump in here. We have got this set up so that most users have to request an asset. So rather than being able to just straight away download, there's the little request asset icon, which, because I'm logged in, is not going to show up. But in that top left corner, normally there's a little request asset button. And whenever that gets clicked, we get a notification to say, hey, somebody wants to use this image. Are you okay with that? And 99.9% of the time, that's all fine. Every now and then, we've had to say, actually, that image might not be the most appropriate one for what you're wanting to use it for. Here's some alternative suggestions.
Okay, yeah, cool. Thanks for showing that. That's, yeah, really awesome. You guys have that built out really well. Okay, so what's your favorite Canto feature, and can you show us what your favorite feature is?
It's a really tough one. I struggle to kind of come up with a favorite. I think the thing that's the most beneficial for us has been the portal, and to share that across the university has made such a difference to the way that we work, and the way that the rest of the university is able to interact with the images that we have. So I'd probably say that the portal is up there. Mm-hmm. The other thing that is a really difficult one to actually show is just having a library. It's probably a little bit more holistic than any one thing, but it's just that we now have one place that we can go to, that source of truth that allows us to show people what we've got, and to not spend so much time looking for images in hidey holes.
Yes, definitely understand that. Awesome. Well, thanks so much, Adam. We are going to move on to some questions, if that is okay for you.
Of course, yeah.
Great. So the first one that we have here is, how was your migration process with Canto?
So for us, the migration was less about moving from one system and migrating to another. It was more about starting afresh. So it was a really cleansing kind of process for us. I don't know if everybody's moved house. Everyone knows what it's like to have to go through and find what's hiding in the back cupboards. And that's kind of what the process was like for us. And it gave us a really good opportunity to audit all of our images. And it was a really smooth process to get everything uploaded into Canto and be able to go through and tag and file and sort into different albums and really get our heads around what exactly we have. So it was actually quite an enjoyable process.
Oh, good. Well, I'm glad to hear that then. Okay, so I think we have time for one more quick question. So how much time per day do you use this tool?
I personally probably spend about half an hour a day on the tool, but then other people in my team who are using it could spend anything up to an hour or 2 hours in there searching or cleaning or looking for new images. Particularly if we're working on a campaign, we could spend quite a lot of time in there searching around, looking for the right things, but still a lot less time than we would have done if we were using our old system of servers.
Okay, yeah. Great. Okay, so I think that about does it. I think we're out of time. So thank you guys so much for your questions. And if you have additional questions about Canto, there will be a link to book a time with one of our DAME specialists in the email with the webinar recording that you will get right after this. So Adam, thank you so much for joining us. That was so great to learn about how you guys are using Canto.
No way.
Yeah,
Thank you.
we really appreciate you just taking the time to tell everyone about how you're using the tool. So yeah, thank you again, and take care, everyone.